Good morning. Okay, good morning. I don't know why I whisper every time I start. I feel like it's because I'm waking up with you. Like that, I mean, obviously I'm not making this video right here at 6 o'clock in the morning today, but I whisper just because I put myself in your shoes and I think, well, they're probably not. Anyways, I digress. Which brings me to a great point that the topic of today's Bible study is having discipline of the mind, which I did not just practice because my brain went everywhere as I said hello to you guys. So anyways, I'm excited about today. It was a very long chapter, which made me think, which is a good thing because the book is talking about thinking. I'm so punny today. I love cheesy jokes. That I don't know if you read the 20 pages. Like, I hope that you're so into this book and that you are reading through it and blasting through it every single day. However, I do know that somebody who's getting in the habit of waking up and doing your Bible study, or not even like straight in the morning, but maybe you check it throughout the day and maybe you watch these videos randomly, which by the way, I'm going to take all these videos and put them on a podcast soon so you can listen to them instead if you want. But I was thinking, I don't know if the majority of our Live Slow Bible studiers will read this chapter prior to watching this video because it is lengthy, but I don't want to put words in Elisabeth Elliot's mouth. I just want to take her words and apply it to this video to kind of recap the Bible study for today. Yesterday, as we talked about the discipline of the mind, the discipline of the body. I loved what she said in the fact of how can you give God your body? No, what is it? Hold on. How can you surrender to God without giving him your body? I wrote this quote down. It was in our Bible study. I'm totally butchering it. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna read it to you exactly. We cannot give God our lives and keep our bodies for ourselves. I love that. And so you think about our body. We talked about the discipline of our body. Now let's go to our mind. What's in between our ears? Because, we can be so distracted, so easily busy, so easily glorifying multitasking that we forget to sit quietly before God. I am so guilty of this. So we forget to sit in quiet concentration. And she even advised us to maybe carve out an hour a day of positioning yourself in a posture that would induce thinking. I was like, this is very introspective, very fun. I'm an introspective person, so I don't mind thinking. But when do we really have 1 hour of silence in a day? And I think it just is going to have to take discipline to create that kind of time, whether that means waking up earlier, whether that means turning off your TV or unplugging your social media and just sitting and thinking about God. That might sound super spiritual, thinking about God. But I'm not talking about like sitting there and meditating, even though I do feel that there is help. There is a great wealth of knowledge in that area. Not meditation like you would think, in the Eastern cultures, but meditation and sitting and thinking and opening your mind, setting it on God, and okay, God, I'm replaying the verses that I read this week in my mind. God, I am going to pray for the things that I need to surrender to you, and I'm going to relinquish it. Just sitting with God for an hour. I think that could do a lot when we're talking about what's in between our ears, what's in our mind right here, to truly have our mind be captivated by him. And I think that stress and worry and fear and doubt are created in our mind and they're fabricated in our mind. But if we proactively discipline ourselves to have a renewed mind, to have a fresh mind, because we are thinking, what does God want me to do? What does Christ have me to do? If I'm thinking about everybody that I'm interacting with based on them and needing salvation, what is my response to him? So you're not thinking ahead of what God has you doing. You're not wanting all the details. You're not trying to be a perfectionist, but you're just having a renewed mind. And that's biblical. That is actually from the Bible, which you guys might recognize a verse from Romans 12, 1 through 2. I'm going to read it to you. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper act of worship. Do not conform to the patterns of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. There's so much in those two verses. I feel like I should read it 400 more times just to absorb it in my mind. But here in verse 2, the renewing of your mind. Do not be conformed by the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Why would the author here put those two back to back? Why would it be, do not be conformed, excuse me, by the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind? I think when you compare the analogy of the world and your mind, it's because we can get so caught up in what the world tells us we should look like, think like, act like, everything, okay? That busy is the best, that go is the best, that stepping on somebody else to get ahead, the lack of discipline in your areas. I know that worldly mindset could be like making light of sin and making light of not having discipline in your mind and going where your feelings lead you, and whatever you think, do. And if some people who are rude, they disclaim that by saying, well, I am just telling you how I feel, and this is, I'm just going to tell you what's on my mind. Wouldn't you rather me tell you what's on my mind than hide it? No, I think it's a sin to say the wrong things. I think, it's a sin for you to have a bad attitude about somebody, or to, not love your neighbor as yourself. And so by you verbalizing that, whether it's in person courageously, or, cowardly, or on social media cowardly, to voice your opinion, you have to decide in your mind, what's in my mind? Is it going to point people to God? What's in my mind? If I had a videotape of all of my thoughts, yikes. And would that point people to God? Would that showcase my love for him? It's a tough question, but I think it's one that we probably all should answer ourselves. Another area of this chapter that I really loved is that she said, if you have a cluttered house, you likely have a cluttered mind. And I was like, oh, that's convicting. Isn't that fun? Because I like to think that I have a cluttered house because, I'm a busy mom. And it's not legalistic in the sense you have to have a clean house, you have to have an organized house, but it's just an example of you simplifying your life might simplify your mind so you're not so flustered, flabbergasted, and stressed out, truly, because there's so many things in your life that could point to evidence that you have a very busy, stressed out mind. And I don't want that for you guys. I don't want that for me either. So if you were to sit down today and discipline your mind to one, just kind of have a therapy session with God, okay? Have a one-on-one session with God and just pray, think, ask, just relax. Don't overthink this. Don't try to create some supernatural feeling. Just write in your journal, just sit and think in silence, slow down for a bit. The entire title of this Bible study is Live Slow Bible Study. So unrush your life a bit. Unrush yourself and slow down. Live slow in your heart and your mind. Just calm it down. Because these are some of the things that he might tell us to do. If you're ready for it, if you're willing. Confess, turn around, quit that indulgence, do not pity yourself, forgive that person, pay back what you owe, apologize, tell the truth, deny yourself, consider others' well-being above your own, lay down your life, okay? So that's on page 70. It's just kind of topics that might go through your mind, or what you might feel like God is teaching you to do as you are renewing your mind and as you are submitting that. Because in Matthew 22 it says here, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and all your mind. So it's a commandment. We must love the Lord our God with all of our heart, soul, and what was the last one? Mind. There is significance there, and there's a reason why we see this over and over in the Bible, because right here is a very powerful tool, and he gave us a brain for a reason. So let's surrender to him and have that discipline today. Okay? Bye, guys.